So this here is the Gaggia Classic espresso machine, and next to it is the Breville Smart Grinder Pro. Turn it on there. I don't think you can see the LCD with the light kind of shining in the camera, but anyhow, excuse me, I thought today that I would briefly talk to you about my experience with purchasing this stuff. I just recently picked this up, maybe a month ago, and I love coffee. I love espresso lattes, breves, stuff like that. And for a few years now, I've been wanting to get myself a nice espresso machine. I used to have one about 4 or 5 years ago. One of those it's a little DeLonghi EC 155 or 55. It was like $100. It lasted about a year. Partly that was my fault, I think, because I have hard water where I live. And so I probably didn't clean it appropriately. So I've been putting it off, just kind of waiting when to pull the trigger. And I thought I wanted to put a little bit of extra money into it in order to get myself something decent that was going to last, but more importantly, that would pull some really nice shots. And so after a lot of research, I decided to go with this Classic. So I'm going to tell you my story in case you're out there looking for an espresso machine. You might find something, I did a lot of reviews and stuff, but usually you just kind of get the specs or, they show you what's going on. But, there was a lot of other questions I had, as far as just doubts. It's like, oh, but is this going to work for me? Am I going to spend $350, $400 on a machine, just the espresso machine alone? And, that's a lot of money. And so I'm going to tell you my experience, and maybe you can pull something from that might help you. If not, that's okay too. So I purchased this off of Amazon, and I picked it up for about $360, the espresso machine. And I've seen it for as low as $329, and I've seen it on up from there. If you can I wouldn't pay more than $399 for it. That's about its average going rate I've seen. If you can find it for $350, somewhere in there, it's great. So I picked this machine up, and I come home, and I'm all excited. I'm gonna pull some shots, and I'm not going to talk about too much of the specifics of each of these. I may do another video about this, a more in-depth, detailed specifics about them. But for now, just going to talk about the experience, and I'm going to pull a shot for you. So I get this home, and I'm excited. I get it all unboxed and set up, and I don't have this grinder yet. What I had is this old grinder. It was a Mr. Coffee grinder. I got it for like $50. I've had it for a few years. It's a burr grinder. It's got various settings from espresso all the way up to coarse for a French press. So I set that at its finest. I've done a lot of research on pulling shots, and I know I need to practice and stuff. So I spend a few hours trying to pull a shot. And they say a 2-ounce shot should pull somewhere around 25 seconds, take you to pull. Give or take what tastes right to you. But that was my guideline that I used. And I could never get a shot. My shots were pulling at 10 to 13 seconds. That's way too fast to pull a shot. It's coming out weak. It's coming out a little sour. It's just not working. So I'm at that point of, oh, crap, and I've always heard, spend money on a nice grinder, put more money into a grinder than you think you'll need, is what I've been hearing. And so I think, all right, well, I'm going to go to Starbucks, and I'm going to have them grind some espresso beans for me. And so I get the espresso roast from Starbucks, have them do it in an espresso grind, come home, it looks nice, pull the shots, I still cannot get a shot to pull. It was no better than this. So I'm thinking, crap, maybe I didn't have them grind it fine enough, And so I go to another coffee shop, just this little shack place that's near where I live. I asked them to grind an espresso, grind me some beans, just did an espresso grind. Come home. As soon as I look at them, I realize this is even a coarser grind than what I had, and it's not going to work. So now I'm starting to feel a little frustrated, getting a little bit of buyer's remorse. Did I do the right thing? This is a lot of money, you know. And so I called my girlfriend. I said, hey, swing by Starbucks on your way over and ask them to pick up some espresso beans, but ask them to grind it in a Turkish grind. And a Turkish grind, if you don't know, it's like a powder, basically. And all I wanted, the reason I wanted the Turkish grind is I just wanted to be able to see if I could stop that thing from pouring, basically. Plug it, basically, you know. Back it up, so to speak. And so if I did that and was able to do that, then I would know that it is the grind setting, and that I would, and then I would have something to shoot for. Then I would know which direction to go. So, and I mean, I had tried different with the beans that I had picked up from Starbucks. I had tried tamping hard, tamping very lightly. I mean, everything. Could not get this to go. So, she brings back the Turkish grind. Bam, it will not pour through. So I'm like, that's awesome. That's great. Now I know that it's got to be a grind, you know. Now I realize this is why you need a nice grinder. It's because you have to find the appropriate size of grind, you know, and that's going to be different from what I understand with different coffees. Now, I haven't experimented with a lot of different coffees yet, a few, but I have noticed that I've had to adjust the grind size. So my thought was, well, I could just go and get my grinds, you know, my beans ground finer at a Starbucks, but the problem with that is you're always going to get a different grind size unless you know the person and you can see the machine and say, hey, always keep it on this, you know, I want it set on setting 3 or 2 or whatever, you know. So finally I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend this much money on this machine, let's get a grinder. So I hop on and start researching grinders. And it come down to 3 grinders. It come down to a Rancilio. There's a Rancilio out there, runs around $350. That's really popular. It's been around for a long time. But that's a lot of money, you know, and I'm already, you know, that's a lot of money. And so, but I'm seeing good things. I saw some videos with some comparisons with this Breville, the Breville Smart Grinder. And this grinder here is $200. You might be able to find it on sale, but it comes in at $200. And so it seemed to get pretty good reviews and stuff. Everybody seemed to like it. My concern, my thought in my head was, but will it grind small enough, you know, so that I can, you know, pull a 25-second shot, give or take. And there was one other grinder, another model that Breville does, and I think it's the model prior. It's about $179. It has the exact same burrs in here, the exact same innards. The only difference between it is it's a manual grinder. It doesn't have the LCD and the automatic dosing and stuff. It's called the Dose Control Pro. I actually have seen that one for $129. It averages, though, its base retail price, it seems to be about $179. So with it having the same guts, I wouldn't hesitate to, you know, consider that. And I just thought, well, you know, I've never had a nice grinder. I want to get the electric, you know, the dose control, the automatic one. Now that I've had this one for a while, they're both, you know, fine. You know, the other one, you just manually got to, you manually dose your shots. So I get this grinder. I come home, I set it to its lowest espresso setting because I want to first, right off the bat, see if I can keep a shot from coming through so that I know that I now have a place to work up from. Sure enough, that happens. I'm like, oh, yes, this is awesome. So I spent about an hour and a half that day messing around with the dose, trying to, you know, practice my tamping, and finally got it dialed in. And I'll tell you, I'm happy now. This is a nice machine, this espresso machine here. It's nice, it's sturdy, it's solid. This grinder, I love this grinder. It's a nice grinder. I drink a lot of French press. I've had some of that with it. Mostly I'm still experimenting with pulling shots. So just to give you a little brief quick look at this stuff here. This is a solid machine. It's got a drip tray here. You can pull the drip tray out to to clean. The tank is back here. You can either pull the tank out and fill water, or you can fill water in from the top. You might as well do it from the top. If you want to pull it out here, you just pull down on this little unit and then pull it out and then put it back up when you're done. Got the machine warming up. It's warmed up. This is your steam button. This is to make hot water if you want. I don't really use it for that. This controls your steam. I'm still experimenting with the steam. I actually replaced this wand, and I may do a video and explain that or show that sometime. The wand that was on it was this thing, and you could not get a nice micro bubbles when I steam my milk. It's more just a big bubbly mess. So I got this wand. It's a version 1/version 2 for the Rancilio espresso machine. I did run into a little issue putting it on. I'll explain that later, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So anyhow, this works nice. I got that. I'm still learning how to steam milk, So anyhow, a couple espresso glasses. This will keep it warm, but whatever. It doesn't warm them up very fast. So solid. Love this. I like this machine. I do. I really do like it. The other thing I like about it is it has a full-size portafilter. I think this is a 58 millimeter. It's nice, sturdy brass. I really like that, and that's what I wanted. My very first espresso machine, that $100 one, it had pressurized baskets. I wanted to, jump up and move away from the pressurized and get a normal basket. So this is a really solid machine. It's really awesome. I really like it. I've taken this apart up here and looked inside the machine. You could actually add a PID to it. It's going to run anywhere between $150 to $200. I may do that later on. That just kind of regulates some temperature, but I'm not concerned about it right now. Haven't really needed it. The Breville grinder here. This grinder, you can remove this hopper. You can unlock it, remove the hopper, dump your beans, put more beans in, put it in. You can set the dose control to automatically turn on and off. So when I put it has this tray comes out to catch your grinds, a little extra. You've got your portafilter holder here. There's two sizes. This one holds the 58 millimeter one. There's another one that holds like a 50 and a 54 or something. I don't know. A little smaller. Like I say, I might go into a little bit more detail later on about it. You can change your settings here from a nice espresso grind all the way up to a French press. So it's really nice. It has a start button here. You can start it and then stop it, or if you hold it in, you can that will manually control the dose. At the back here, there's a little button there. That button, it's the same as the start button. When you put your portafilter in there, you just hit it and it starts it. So I'll just kind of show you here. And if you stop it, you can push in and stop it, kind of shake your stuff down. It will remember where you're at for about 10 seconds. So we can go ahead and push it, stop it again, and it will remember where you're at, and so it will keep its spot and run until the time runs out. And I know with my camera here, you can't see the display. I can't see it through my screen I'm looking at. But like I say, when you start it, it'll count down. And you can pause it, tamp your stuff, or, shake it down a little bit, put it under there. So you just make less of a mess, conserve your coffee, because, coffee's like It's like gold, you know. And so yeah, so it works nice. It's really cool like that. I'm going to set this down here and just tamp this really quick. And then I'll pull it up closer when I do the shot for you to see. So let me grab my tamper here. I ended up picking up a new tamp. It's pretty cheap, you know. I think I got this one for like 15 bucks, 10 bucks, I don't remember. It's a solid tamp. There's concave, there's flat, and there's these ones with these lines in it. I don't know if you can see that. So anyhow, since it's my coffee, I'm going to touch the grinds and just kind of flatten it out. Let's see what it weighs here really quick. So my portafilter here weighs 502 grams. And so if I put this on here, we're at 520. So I've got about an 18 gram double shot. Apparently a double shot should be somewhere around 14 to 18 grams, they say. Ultimately, I think it depends on, you know, how it tastes for you. So let me hurry and tamp this. Good enough. I'm going to lock it in here. It's been warming up for a while, but usually when I warm it up, I might turn it on for a couple minutes. The light will kick on when it's warm. And then I'll stick a little Tupperware, you know, a little bowl underneath and just run it for a couple of seconds, a few seconds, just to cycle some water through, make sure all the water's, and then let it heat back up for a second, you know. So let's go ahead and see how our shot pulls. I just got these beans today. Who knows how this is going to turn out. Let's see here. And it's pouring a little bit fast, maybe. I think it's pouring just a touch too fast. I don't have my timer going. We can stop it, but still, so I think it's pouring a little bit too fast. My grind size right now is set at 14. So what I would do is maybe drop it down to 12. Try another shot, you know. But that did pour a little bit too fast for my liking. So anyhow, that's the machine. It works really, really nice. There's usually a nice puck, you know, if you don't know the puck inside of it, it's not too soupy or anything. I've had them really dry and a little soupier. So I got this awesome little knock box. Right? Gotta have a knock box. But there's the puck. It's a good, whatever that means, you know. So, I'm happy with the purchase. I like the espresso machine. Like I say, I love coffee, and it's quick to make a shot. Does a good latte. I've done a few of those. So, I like it. Well worth it. The grinder, I'm totally happy with the grinder. I love this grinder. I feel good about my purchase now. For $200, I don't think, from all of the reviews I found, I think that you're not going to find, the only other one, like I say, that Smart Dose Control, the Dose Control Pro, like I say, I saw that for $129 before, brand new. It does have the same guts, so that tells me that it's going to grind the same. The thing you're missing out on, if it matters to you, is the automatic dosing, this, you know, nice little electrical panel and stuff. But other than that, from my understanding, they seem to be the same grinder. So, you know, you're looking about $550 to $600 for a nice coffee, you know, espresso setup. I don't think you're going to do much better than that, but I don't know. You know, the thing I'm curious to try sometime is I would like to repurchase that first espresso machine I had, I've seen that thing for like 75, 80 bucks. And I've heard just recently that there's a, it has such a big following that actually people have, I don't know if they've modded the portafilter or if there's a portafilter out there that you can get, but there's a portafilter out there that's not pressurized, that has the normal basket. And so I thought that would be interesting to try a really nice grinder with a cheap machine like that and see what kind of shot it would pull. I'm just curious. So anyhow, never know on that. But yeah, that's my video. If you have any questions about this, hopefully it made sense. I made sense. If there's anything I left out or that you would like to know, post a comment and I will try to respond to that comment. And or if you have any suggestions or if I missed something, please let me know. I'd really like to hear that. So I really appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much. I've got like 8 subscribers right now. Woohoo! If I keep at this rate, I just might be able to retire my day job, and do this for a living. But hey, if you want, click like and subscribe if you would. That would be awesome. And I'm hoping to here in the near future to just maybe do a couple videos on some different drinks and shots and whatnot, and just have fun with this. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. Smell you later.